This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
I'm on the brink of it, but I love being wrong because it's fun, right? When teams can surprise you and do things that you did not expect. And Tyler Hero is growing before our eyes. Bam Adebayo has already become an all-star. Bam already has immense respect from everybody around the league. Players, coaches, media, fans, everybody knows Bam now, okay? By this season, the All-Star game, and now the performance so far in the playoffs where you really get a spotlight, Bam has had that spotlight and he's earned it. Tyler's also now getting it, right? And one of the things that I said many times, and Bill's my witness, that when you made the Jimmy Butler trade, you need to go get another star in order to justify this trade. Because you're not going to get anywhere. You're not really going to win a title without another star. Now, one of the caveats that I said is unless one of them develops from within, and guess what? You know, my thoughts of, you know, having to trade for Giannis or somebody else, maybe they don't need it. Because one of the exciting things about this season for the Miami Heat and for us fans is the growth of Bam. They drafted him, and they've developed him, and he's developing into a star, okay? And let me tell you, once he starts getting deeper and deeper on his shot, my Lord, he becomes superstar material. He's already all-star material. He can get to the superstar level. And now we're watching Tyler Hero, who's a baby. His body isn't even developed yet. You look at his arms, he still looks like he's got kid arms.
20.
Yeah, because he can't even drink. So this is a kid that we're now watching dribbling, passing, smarts, patience. You saw Reggie Miller talk about that one scene where he has two guys flying at him, and he adjusts to both guys and then gets the three off and nails the three, which is not normal, by the way, for most three-point shooters in the NBA. Forget a baby like Tyler. I'm talking about a 12-year veteran has two people come at him. Most of the time, they even miss that shot. They might avoid the two guys, but there's a good chance they'll miss this shot. It's like those guys that, like, hesitate on the three-point line and they take another dribble, and then they shoot and they miss, or they leave them all alone and they're so wide open that they don't make that shot. I mean, it happens over and over and over again. And the growth of Tyler starts to make you find another all-star, because he's looking like he's going to develop into that kind of guy. See, it's not so much the talent, okay? You got to have the talent. Then you've got to have the work ethic to develop that talent. And then you've got to also have the moxie to become a star. All-star, superstar, those kind of guys. Those people are wired differently than the average player, than the role player, than the bench player, okay? Than the practice squad or whatever the hell it's called, in Sioux Falls, They're G League teams.
Yes, sir.
There's a different level of mentality, right? Tyler Hero has that mentality. And so if Miami continues to develop these two guys, then you may not need to go out and get all, make a crazy trade, let guys go and add another star next to Butler. Your star may just be developing right in your house. In fact, you may be developing two stars. You may have a big three in another year between, Jimmy, Tyler, and Bam. And then you've got an all-world shooter in Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? And Kendrick Nunn, my man, stay driving to the hole, and defense, do not shoot anymore. Okay? Because I've been saying it for months now. way before the pandemic, he was already losing his shot. So whatever he did in that first couple of months of this season that helped him, with the rookie of the year voting and all that stuff, that shit is gone. I hate to say it, okay? I don't know if Stella will ever find his groove again, but that kid cannot be trusted at all to shoot. So stay driving, because I love what he was doing when he was driving and playing defense yesterday. Stay doing those kind of things. That's where you'll help and facilitate, okay? Because you can do all of that.
You haven't mentioned Draj, baby.
Yeah, but he's not young. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about youth. And so my point is that Bam and Tyler are guys that could end up becoming those stars that we thought we needed in free agency. And I'll get to Giannis's comments after the game and all of that, in a few minutes. I'm not worried about that. But I just, and listen, that's the other thing that it brings, the fan gets all jacked for guys like Bam and Tyler because you drafted them. And when you're able, and that's the other thing this front office has done, I mean, a magnificent job. They recovered from all those terrible decisions, and they were in that rut for a couple of years, and they quickly got out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we appreciate Riley enough. Zoe gets a kidney ailment. He goes and trades for Anthony Mason, and they're a 50-win team. You know what I mean? These are things that he gets here, and right away he makes the Zoe trade and the Timmy trade and turns the fortunes around for this team with a quickness. You know what I mean? After the Zoe and Timmy era is over, it starts with Dwayne Wade. And then he picks up Lamar and he drafts Caron Butler and he turns that into Shaq. You know what I mean? And then when that is over, you then rebuild again and you get the big three. And then after that, you got a couple of journeymen that you kind of developed and you gave them a chance. That didn't work out. You scrap it, and now you're here. I mean, it's the Sacramento Kings have been waiting for one turnaround since they were the Sacramento Queens, okay? Since they had Vlade Divac playing with Chris Webber and all those cats back in those days, and they didn't win squat, but they won pretty much, a lot of games in the Western Conference. They got to the playoffs a couple years. They had the cowbells going. The place was packed. They're still waiting to recover from those days, okay? I mean, we're talking the 90s when Shaq called them the Queens. Maybe 90s, maybe very early 2000s. Not more than that. But, I mean, come on, dude. They're still waiting to recover. And our franchise turns over and turns over and turns over and turns over. And I don't think we appreciate how good they do this. And to think, a couple of years ago, we're sitting there going, how are we going to get rid of Whiteside and James Johnson and Tyler Johnson and all these guys that there's not a future with any of these guys. None of them are special. And here we are a couple of years later, and we're watching one of the great shooters in the league in Duncan Robinson. We're watching a young first-rounder who's 20 years old, is scratching the surface, and every day looks better. And my Lord, how Tyler Hero does not look lost at all or nervous in this position. He loves being in this position. He thrives in this position. Remember what I said about moxie? Can't teach it, man. You either have the moxie or you don't. Tyler's got it. Bam's got it. And then you've got two kids also that are willing to work their asses off to better themselves too. So you have the God-given ability. You have the Heat-like work ethic. That's it. You're set. It's really an amazing story. And for all of us to watch it become a homegrown thing, it's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty freaking awesome to see that develop.